Army Dreamer is a song written by Kate Wood, a British singer. The song is released on September 22, 1918, as the third single from Kate Wood's album Never Forever. It's mainly about anti-war message and how it affects us emotionally. The reason we chose this song is because it is fascinating how Kate Wood utilized Celtic culture in the song. Despite her being British, and we are also captivated by how she acts or portrays things in the music video. So let's get into it, shall we?
Although Kate Bush doesn't directly mention it in her song because the 1980s had more than just one war in various areas, we believe that the war she is referring to is primarily the Irish-British War, or the Troubles, which lasted from 1960 to 1998. The trouble was caused by the overwhelmingly conflict of Protestant Unionists who desired the province to remain part of the United Kingdom, and the Roman Catholic nationalists who wanted Northern Ireland to become part of the Republic of Ireland. All of that mentioned, it can be implied that different beliefs and cultures, as they are non-materially constructed, could be seen as a tool to unite, but at the same time, it could also be used to resist dominance, to influence people's perceptions of truth, or even an act of punishment.
Kate Bush, as a British, uses Celtic folk music and an Irish accent to perfectly convey the ancient Northern Irish lullaby. Even though her usage of the Irish accent can be seen as a cultural appropriation in some aspect, however, her message permeated through the controversies. She didn't deny nor accept any allegation of this said case. Moreover, this was the only time she'd ever used Irish accent in her song. This leads us to the conclusion that it's not entirely true. And she used the accent to properly articulate her own anti-war message beautifully and respectfully to the world, and subtly show us how culture can be used to relate feelings between groups of people. This is a fascinating concept, as Celtic people often use music to tell bedtime stories to their children, a long-standing Irish European tradition. After thoroughly analyzing the music video for Army Dreamers, it's clear that Army Dreamers is about mother's feelings over the loss of her children in war, even though her children have yet to fulfill their own dream. The song used a lullaby-like style to tell the story of mother's grief after the loss, including the emphasis on a what-if phrase like, if they had still lived, what would have they become? It poses a question that no one can answer, and ends with silence, as if she were lulling a child into a final embrace and finally give them closure.
The use of children dressed in military uniforms is thought to express the innocence of teenagers who must join the war. The people they are fighting against in the real incident may not be children or 6-7 years old, like in the MV, but rather an implication of a person with their inner child innocence. Imagine someone who has just grown up with dreams but must join the army. If they are lucky, they will have a chance to survive and continue to pursue their dreams, even though it comes with trauma that will haunt them for life. However, if they die, everything ends there. Dream that end with the loss of their families. Another thing here that we do like to mention is color green. Green is mod media is always a signifier for nature, environment, or life. Yet in this specific video, the color green is signified as death, toxic, and fear, as it can be seen on the army uniform and the way they look, stare, or army ribbons. It could be also elaborated that the concept of humanity was fully blurred, just like the way the soldiers camouflaged and blended with the green color in the scene. Or for example, the uniform used in this MV, as is not explicitly stated whether it's British or Irish, but rather this as a whole that in most depictions in uniform can signify protection, calm, and peace with its bright green color. On the other hand, throughout this video, we can see that the color shifts from being so bright to dark. Torn and muddy, can note that it no longer represents anything mentioned earlier. Alternatively, it now represents despair, negativity, and hopelessness. As this war conflict strikes us down, suggesting that something that was once positively influenced could be altered by suppression into something sinister yet distressing.
This scene seems to be implying that the bomb is an activator or something that affects the mind, such as bad feelings experienced as a child, or an event that is like war, causing anxiety, trauma, that make us as adults fall from the impact, like PTSD symptom, or it can symbolize brand power or sudden influence by the authorities or government.
This montage obviously shows us how much fear and paranoia the soldiers must have been in. Alternatively, in other contexts, it also reflects how innocence and imagination of a person can be gone over time. Backed up by both Hall's theory of how identity is not fixed and changes over time, and the symbols here in this one scene. The boy in their army uniform symbolizes that perfectly: youthfulness, imagination, and inspiration, suddenly suppressed by the expectations of the world around them, just like the way he's hiding behind this tree. And the female soldier represents nostalgia and possibly the audience, considering the intimate demeanor she has toward the soldier, in which immaculately encapsulates one's longing for their true inner desire that disappears during any conflicts in their lives.
To conclude, Army Dreamers can be analyzed into two possible messages. In terms of war message, this song perfectly projects the painful loss of the war through the eyes of the mother who has lost her son forever. The song uses simple words, but is lacked with the irony, sadness, the question about the society that pushes young people down a path of death, with no other choice in life. It also serves as a satire to society that glorifies war but neglects the life of young people lost. Nonetheless, in terms of individual, this song could also display the absence of innocence and inspiration in a person throughout their life, resulting from the suppression from society, which can be symbolized by the boy and the soldier in the video. Eventually, Army Dreamers is not only a song about the voice of ordinary women, became a representative of all those who have lost, question meaning about the word hero, and suggests the war is never a victory for anyone, but also a wholesome poem about how society and its conflicts affect the people in it, especially children, on how they dream, think, or perceive. It reflects the way people's innocence and imagination are used as a tool to guide themselves through the goals, but later crushed by problems caused by everything they are living in.